Yes, welcome to my first live stream, folks. This is where the revolution continues. This is a bit nuts. Yeah, I'm looking at myself in the screen. This is nuts. Right. So I've actually done a little test run of this in a private one, but I am trying to do a public one. Who knows at this moment in time, because this is live. I've told nobody, but it will go out online at some point, and I can see the view counter. This is a big fat 0. So we will see what happens. But the topic I'm going to talk about in my first ever live stream, I'm just trying this out basically. And the thing that I'm going to talk about is the thing that I've been mucking around with ChatGPT. Now, what I'd asked ChatGPT was, where is the top 5 best places to live? Now, there's the global livability index, and usually there is some cities at the top of there, and they do it over tons of criteria: education, transportation, health care, crime, climate, infrastructure, the works, right? There's a set criteria. You can go and look it up in Google, the Global Livability Index, top places. And usually there's always Zurich, Vienna, is it Geneva, I think is the other one, Melbourne, Sydney, Auckland, some of the majority of those ones there, Adelaide somewhere in there as well, as and Vancouver, that's another one, as the sort of best places, best cities to live in the world, over all this criteria. Now, I gave ChatGPT slightly specific criteria, and I am going to share that with you now. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, I will change. Yes, now it works this time. The funny thing about this was I've tried it just on a private one recently, and just before, like a couple of minutes ago, and I've clicked on this and I haven't actually added it onto the major screen. So I've spoken about this for 20 minutes and nobody would ever see it. But anyway, I'm thinking of the best places to live in the world. I like the city vibe, but also a city can be too busy, so maybe a suburb town. The factors are reasonable climate, opportunity for coastal and countryside in close proximity. Educate demographics, so needs a university, beach, gym facilities, international sporting events, good schools, historic architectural charm, good transport links, within 90 minutes driving of a major international airport, creative and cultural scene. Give me your top 5 best with these factors across the world. So it's thought for 39 seconds. I still think that's mental, by the way, but anyway. Top 5 places that match your checklist. So I've picked cities that blend city energy, nearby suburbs, towns, have strong universities, beaches the coast, countryside within easy reach, cultural life, good transport links, and major airports reachable within 90 minutes. Each below city I call out how it maps your factors. Number 1 was Barcelona. Interesting. In Spain. What do we get? I'm not going to read that whole thing, but it's close to easy access to the Catalan coast, obviously, because of the coast. The Pyrenees, the El Prat airport is very close to the city. Huge creative scene, and also, obviously, a FC Barcelona, so you're getting major games weekly, both international with the sort of Champions League, but also like league games. What you get? So Mediterranean climate, obviously very nice. World-class culture and food, good international schools, frequent sporting events, as I've just said, good public transport, etc., etc. So Barcelona is number 1, is what it's saying in the world. Maybe I should have put out a good low crime rates. Number 2, Lisbon in Portugal. Very interesting. Slightly more mild climate, accessible countryside, strong expat and creative communities, good gyms, and transport network makes day trips easy. The first English-speaking, or maybe San Diego is or isn't. San Diego in California, on the southwest of California. Relaxed coastal vibe with outdoor lifestyle, surfing, hiking, strong arts and music scenes, good private and public school options, easy weekend escapes to desert or mountains. Cape Town, South Africa, and Auckland, New Zealand is what it's given its fifth. Auckland, I've been before, beautiful place. I actually went in winter, but it still was okay. Temperate climate. Water's right there. It's actually pretty much bang in the middle. Like, there's water both sides of the town. So, cool place, albeit miles away. The one thing I was interested about this was why did Melbourne not get chosen? Because, well, it's at the coast. And as I know, I've been there, beautiful city. And in an English-speaking sense, as I mentioned earlier, the top four usually are Zurich, Geneva, Vienna, and Melbourne. Melbourne, out of the last 20 years, for a lot of that time, was number one. And it's only in the last sort of 5 to 10 years has it sort of started to drop down, that global livability index. So I was interested why that wasn't put on. And yes, it has a beach. So the case for it gives all the stuff that I mentioned. Exceptional, it's arguably the creative capital of Australia, music, design, innovation. It's got massive sporting culture with the AFL. The Grand Prix goes there, and the Australian Tennis Open is there, so one of the big Grand Slams. So big sporting culture in Melbourne. And the thing about, for me, with Melbourne was that it has a mixture of it feels a bit like Edinburgh, because it has got this sort of Victorian feel to it. There's a lot of, it's obviously in the state of Victoria, but there's a lot of Victorian architecture in the city, or in the CBD, as it mentions, or as it says. Victorian sort of buildings. There is this sort of creative centre right in the middle of the centre of town. But yeah, only 20 minutes on a tram, if that, you're out to St Kilda and Brighton, which is where the beach is, at Port Phillip Bay. So yeah, like, as an English-speaking place, this is the best city in the world according to Global Livability Index, and it has major international sporting events every year. When I was over there, I actually spoke about and researched so one of the big things about Melbourne that they mention is you could get 4 seasons in a day in terms of weather and climate. It could be raining, could be beautiful sunshine, could be massive wind, could be burnout. You could even get snow during the winter. It's very, very mixtured. But comparing it to where I'm from Dundee, Scotland. The feeling of it was, I would like, Dundee's known as one of the driest places in Scotland. So I checked all the annual rainfalls. That is very boring, but I did this. Dundee gets between 700 and 800 millimetres on average annual rainfall per year. Melbourne gets less than 500. I think it was about 450 millimetres average rainfall per year. So annually. Glasgow on the west coast of Scotland, known as much more wet. It has about 1,400 millimetres, so a metre, point and 40 centimetres of average rainfall per year. And coincidentally, I was with the Irish over there. The driest place in Ireland, on the island of Ireland, is Dublin, the capital city of the Republic of Ireland. Its annual rainfall is about between 2 and 2.1 2,000 millimeters of rainfall averagely every year, just over 2 meters. So, like, when they have that, I'm looking at that from a Scottish perspective. Like, yeah, we could get very variable climate, very windy, lots of rain, but we can also get snow and we can also get sunshine. So when they said, oh, only 450, I was like, shut up then, use a bunch of wusses. So, yeah, it's got a better climate than here, and for a majority of the year as well. It's only during our summer do we actually usually get warmer than what they get in their winter. So, yeah, climate variability, it says, as it says, 4 seasons in one day is real. It's not bad climate, just inconsistent. However, being from Scotland, it's more consistent than here. While there are bayside suburbs, St Kilda and Brighton, they're not true ocean beaches. Calmer water, less scenic than Sydney, Cape Town, Barcelona, or Lisbon. I think that's quite harsh. Like Port Phillip is a massive bay, but it's a massive bay that you actually can't see the other side, really. So, like, in a weird way, yes, it's not good for surfing, but it's quite a calm place. And obviously, if the sun's out, it's a good place to go to the beach. Melbourne's famous for its sort of wine country. So the countryside is sort of lots of vineyards. So Yarra Valley, Mornington Peninsula, Dandenongs, all lovely, but they are about an hour to 2 hours away to the east. And globally, yes, it's less than 90 minutes from the international airport, but it is quite far away and quite isolated compared to, living in Europe. So makes travel or global travel a lot more trickier. So, Now, this is where I then asked it about same for towns of the world. I was very surprised by this one. St Andrews, Scotland, number 1, 20 minutes from where I live. Now, I want to provide this, and I said this in a previous video about the top 5 golf courses. And the reason why I'm doing these top 5s is because I got a lot of inspiration from videos I've seen about golf courses, but also top 5s were part of a very famous comedian in America, David Letterman. Who was part of The Late Show on CBS. He was the major host for it for years and years and years. You might not have heard of him if you're a younger person, but if you're an older person, you've probably more heard of him, and you've also probably heard of Stephen Colbert, which is the current host. David Letterman was before him. So, top 5s, he used to do them throughout the whole thing. So, top 5s or top 10s he used to do as well. So the best town in the world, featuring my criteria, St Andrews, Scotland. Now, when I was 15, I would have always said I would want to have lived in St Andrews. Like, that was the dream. Not being, just the home of golf, but it was the weekend. It was family. It was our day trip to the beach or day trip out was to St Andrews. And it just so happened that we were for 20 minutes, 25 minutes from the home of golf. And university there, one of the best universities in the UK, certainly top 3, top 5. Became famous primarily through golf, but also university. And also it's got its name is our patron saint of the country, St Andrews. Oldest university in Scotland, founded in 1413. So very, very student vibe city. Walkable because it's small, but the world comes to it. It's a tourist town because of the golf, because of the university, and because where are you going for the weekend? Let's go to St Andrews. Because of the castle ruins, the cathedral ruins. There's a lot of history in and around the northeast Nook of Fife, and primarily coming out of that ancient village or ancient fishing town, St Andrews. So a lot of people go. Good schools, there's St Leonard's and there's Madras, and reasonably safe community. It's certainly an old part of town. And you've got 2 airports within an hour's worth of a drive, or just over an hour's worth of a drive. You've got Dundee and you've got Edinburgh. And Edinburgh, you can go anywhere. Very creative, very cultural, pulse throughout the town, primarily through the university, and there is sort of arts festivals, and there's a continuous student community, which keeps the town quite young, which is nice. Number 2, Byron Bay, Australia. Now, I've been to Byron Bay as well. Beautiful place, beautiful weather. If you're into partying, if you are into sitting around on a beach all day, that is your place to go. I mean, it was awesome. And it's funny, like, I was actually speaking to locals when I was there. It's the furthest east point in Australia, which is quite cool. Certainly out the lighthouse on the south side of the beach. And yeah, like, I would love to go back there. The one thing that I find it interesting, just looking at it on this, is the two of them, both St Andrews and Byron Bay, both were little small coastal towns, nothing to ruffle feathers, and now it's become these massive sort of industrialized places because they are tourist towns. People from all over the world flee to Byron Bay. People from all over the world come to St Andrews to play golf. So there's a very global community now, and it's house prices are through the roof, etc., etc. So, like, because of its success, it's attracting more success, which locals may not find as much as fanciful. Same as in Cambridge. Number 3, world famous university, obviously. Medieval Georgian architecture, beautiful countryside, as it says, gyms, etc. Cultural life. London Stansted only 40 minutes, and Heathrow only less than an hour, about an hour and a half. Good cycling and sports culture, vibrant music, and yeah. Number 4, San Sebastian in Spain, on the northwest of the country, close to the Pyrenees, much better climate. Educated cosmopolitan residents, University of the Basque Country nearby. Bilbao is less than an hour and a half. International airport. A very blend of elegance, food, surf, and art. Small town size, world class lifestyle. Boom. And obviously it has the pilgrimage from various parts of Spain to the Camino de Santiago. And number 5, Santa Barbara, California, which is just north of Los Angeles. University town, educated, California coast, south facing, 90 minutes from LA. And sun, surf, and sophistication. And it's given us a little table there as well, which is quite nice. I then asked it about the difference between Oxford and Cambridge, but said Oxford's become more sort of industrialized, more city-like, and Cambridge is slightly closer to major airports, so that's why it chose Cambridge over that. And I asked it to create a 750-word essay about this conversation about the best cities and towns in the world regarding the parameters I set for you. This article is for me to put on my Substack. And this one, the world's best places to live between city, energy, and coastal calm, is going to be on my Substack, which I am about to share with you now. If I do this, you will see my Substack, which I've written up. So I've got about 4 articles on there. I've just started it up, and it's a mixture of thoughts, feelings, opinions. So I've done reflections on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. That's what sort of compelled me to start all of this. My thoughts on the state of the music education in Scotland. Pressing send on a decade of what ifs. That was a little bit of an interesting one, which I'd love you to read. And unraveling the past mistakes of my trip abroad, which you might get some little helpful hints from that if you're thinking about going traveling. So yeah, I'm going to be posting that one up on Monday. So we are 20 minutes in, or just under 20 minutes in. 0 people have watched us. Fantastic. Who knows? Who knows what might watch it? But this has been a perfect test run. Hope if you've ever thought about stuff like that, that's what I use ChatGPT for certain things, but also like bigger questions. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed this, and we will see you another time. Cheers. Bye just now.